If you are a defendant and you claim that you acted in self-defense, here's what you said. The jury doesn't have to believe that Rosenbaum was attacking Rittenhouse. The state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Rosenbaum was not attacking Rittenhouse.
Danny.
So I don't know that a lot of non-legal people understand that if I claim self-defense, you as a prosecutor have to prove that I was not acting in self-defense.
Exactly. Once there is any evidence in Wisconsin of self-defense, the burden is on the prosecution to disprove self-defense. Now, they can do that by attacking any of the elements of self-defense. Defeating any of them will prevail for the prosecution. For example, had they proven that the attack was not imminent, in other words, if Joseph Rosenbaum had said, I'm going to kill you next Tuesday, that is not an imminent attack. If they proved that the attack, the use of force, was not proportional to the force directed to Rittenhouse. Now, there was an area for contention because there are a lot of folks who just believe that, hey, person with firearm is never threatened by person without a weapon at all. And I think that was something the defense had to contend with, demonstrating that, no, indeed, if somebody takes away a firearm from you, now you reverse the force and your life is threatened as a result.
You made the
Base
Danny, thank you, Danny.
Reaching the truth on MSNBC. Praise Danny.
America thanks you, Danny. Thank you for your service.
He's like, Velchie, listen to me. You've been saying some dumb fucking shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can all put up with your terrible wardrobe, but these lies, they have to fucking end. They all stop here today.
Yeah, I didn't clip it because it was hard to find, but he had some awful Rittenhouse takes last week. Velchie did. So.
Oh yeah.
Earlier that the prosecution put facts on their side. What did you mean by that?
I meant that this was a case that arguably shouldn't have been brought in the first place. So it's easy for
Base Danny.
I know.
He's like, Velchie, what are you doing? I'm on MSNBC.
From orbit here.
Yeah, he's like one of the few people on MSNBC who's like, listen, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. God, where's get Danny on that panel and Joy Reid, please, God.
Oh yeah,
that would have been. Oh, it's be like, listen, you guys are all fucking stupid. Okay.
Yeah, no, I want Danny to interview Joy Reid for like an hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah, melts her brain.
Easy for folks to criticize the prosecution. I take a different. What's scary to me, and again, I meant that this was a case that arguably shouldn't have been brought in the first place. So it's easy for folks to criticize the prosecution. I take a different view. I think what's scary to me, and again, I'm biased as a criminal defense attorney, but what scares me about the justice system is that this appears to be a case where the prosecution, as it unfolded, may have learned that, this isn't really the case we thought it was. And the problem with our system is that there isn't a way for prosecutors to reevaluate, save face, and say, you know what, maybe this isn't a case anymore. In fact, it's a testament to how well the prosecutors did with those bad facts that they took this to a jury and the jury deliberated for 3 days on a case that, as we can see, was a case of self-defense. And even their provocation argument, which would have negated self-defense and which they only developed mid-trial, even that argument got them to a jury. So the
criminal justice reform now. That's basically what he's saying.
Right. Well, he was a criminal defense attorney.
He's saying
he's
this is
crazy.
Yeah, I don't. It is crazy that there's no like eject for this. We fucked up. This we should retract our case. That would make all the difference in the world.
I thought there is a way for them. I mean, I thought they could drop charges in the middle of the case. They're not going to.
Well, I mean, if the defendant takes a plea bargain, they drop everything.
No, but I think the state can drop the charges at any time.
Really?
I thought so.
Oh, but he did mention saving face.
Right, but that's the problem is that if they drop charges, I mean, it makes
it's they're admitting that they fucked up.
Yeah, it makes them look like fucking morons. But I don't know how there's a way around that.
Yeah. Binger,
because well, if you guys don't know, what he's referring to when he says changing their argument is that before the state charges you with a crime, or even after, but before the trial, they're supposed to have a fully developed theory of the case.
Yeah, and they're supposed to stick with that theory throughout the trial.
Right. They're supposed to have a full. They're supposed to have right. They're supposed to have all the information that's available to them. They're supposed to have a fully developed theory about what happened and why you should be charged with X, Y, and Z. And the fact that the major linchpin of the case was this provocation charge
I
that
think
they
in our
didn't come up
criminal
with until
justice-
the middle of the case, shows that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and that they changed the major theory of the case right before the end.
Yeah. Yeah. They pulled that provocation out of a hat.
Right.
But the fact that they did pull that provocation out instead of just like going down with the ship is what is terrifying. Like Binger was trying so hard to fucking win.
I know.
Yeah. Ouch.
System is that prosecutors are often too good at their jobs with facts that just don't lead to a conviction.
So what about how do people like me come to terms with the fact that we know that this is a kid who had no legal right to own that gun, did not acquire it legally, crossed state lines to.
Okay, so this is hysterical. This is totally hysterical.
He's like, okay, putting all the facts aside that are relevant, Danny, how do I, a fucking asshole who's been spewing a bunch of bullshit, cope with this? Please explain to me how to cope.
Oh, that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, here, let me string all the but what about all these talking points we've been talking about for months and months and months now, Danny? Explain to me, where's my out?
Engage in something that he said was defending small businesses, which is not a role for civilians.
I know. I need to do some saving face here, Danny. Please help.
Where's
How
my
do I do
ripcord?
Exactly.
Gun, did not acquire it legally, crossed lines to engage in something that he said was defending small businesses, which is not a role for civilians in this country. It doesn't exist. We don't deputize individual people as police, and unless you're
Does he think private security guards are not civilians?
I know.
Does he think they work for like the military or something?
What the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
Dude, look around you. I'm certain there's private security in the fucking building here.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think sits behind the desk when you walk in?
Velshi, I bet you Velshi in the MSNBC office, like where the entrances or the elevator is, there's probably a guard standing right fucking there.
Do you think that guy's a fucking government official? No, he works for fucking private security for the building. Most buildings have a team of private security at our fucking artist studio.
MSNBC only hires Black Watch Army veterans to guard their building. Okay, there are no civilians present on this security force.
At our artist studio, we knew all of the security guards. How the hell were we supposed to get on the roof to smoke weed if we didn't know the fucking security guards?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
This is insane. Velshi is like, every single security guard in America is a police officer. What a fucking Looney Tune.
You're not empowered to get involved in public activity control or defense of businesses and property that's not your own. How do you square the idea that Kyle Rittenhouse definitely did something wrong? Is it that he wasn't...
Look, Base Danny is just looking at him like...
like this stone face he's giving you?
This is like... Danny is sitting here looking, going, this is the craziest thing I ever heard. Did this motherfucker listen to anything I said? Did he hear anything I said just now? What does this have to do with what I just said? Oh, no.
I don't remember his answer.
Watch together. Oh, my God. I wonder if it's because you're uploading the clips.
What?
Like,
is it not working for you?
Yeah, it's working for you.
Yeah. What should have anything to do with? Oh, you mean because I put the clip in the link? That shouldn't really affect it, should it?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're like unlisted or on a small channel.
They are unlisted, but I can't imagine that would have any effect.
Nobody should have been there. In fact, that's not my opinion. The prosecutor
straight state lines to engage in something
Don't
that
pause.
said was defending small
now.
businesses, which is not a role for civilians in this country. It doesn't exist. We don't deputize individual people as police,
Look, he
and
wants
unless
to
you're
answer
National
so
Guard,
badly.
you're not empowered to get involved in public activity control or defense of businesses and property that's not your own. How do you square the idea that Kyle Rittenhouse definitely did something wrong? Is it that he wasn't charged with the right doing something wrong?
You and I can morally agree that Kyle Rittenhouse should never have been in Kenosha, Wisconsin. At least that's what I think. He should never have been there with a long rifle in the middle of riots. Nobody should have been there. In fact, that's not my opinion. The prosecutor himself said reasonable people were not downtown in Kenosha that night, implying that pretty much everybody there pushing dumpsters around that were on fire were not reasonable. And I agree with that. And I agree that Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there at that time with a firearm. However, under Wisconsin law, all of that is immaterial. And if you don't like that, then you write to your legislators and say, look, we don't like self-defense the way it is. We don't like an open carry situation. We want to, if you can have a firearm, great. You just can't open carry it in our town. That is a perfectly reasonable conclusion. But when you analyze self-defense, you can boil this entire case down to really, did the prosecution prove that Kyle Rittenhouse's gun was here, where it was not threatening, or here where it was? Everything else, all the white supremacy, all the other political issues, the Second Amendment, that's all smoke-filled coffeehouse nonsense compared to the legal issue at hand. But everything else is fair game for a discussion about society in general.
He just told him that right to his face, too.
He said, listen,
Smokehouse coffee nonsense.
everything you just said to me is bullshit.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. Take your couch wearing motherfucker and get out.
Take your
And good to
couch
see you
full
as
of
always.
smoke-filled nonsense. Get out.
For your clarity, Danny Savalas is
He's like,
a
okay,
legal
get off my
analyst.
show.
He's like, oh, thank you for your clarity. No,
Get the fuck off my show. So do you think Valshi's going to say, I need to rethink how I was talking about this case?
No, he's pissed off that he didn't give him an out. He's like, that's my out. He's like, I just asked you for the ripcord and you give me a fucking a piece of dental floss. What the fuck? This is no ripcord. I need a parachute.
No, he's like, do you have a spare parachute? And he's like, bitch, I told you not to jump out of that plane. Then he pulls his parachute and fucking
he's like,
yeets himself away. Like, woo, later, bitch.